Chapter 3. To Dream of Power. Clover opened the locker at his second job to support his siblings, hoarder of a mother, and the drunk. He worked at a bakery in the morning and as a cashier at a large store in the afternoons and evenings. Thinking about the household finances, Clover wondered if he should get a third job to help buy school supplies for Annie and Stephen. Stephen needed new shirts, and Annie needed nearly everything else. And unfortunately, things were tighter than usual this month, due to the drunk being more of a hindrance than usual. He would be more valuable as roadkill. Clover thought darkly. He didn't mind the bakery. It was warm, the owners were nice, and it always smelled like cinnamon. The store, on the other hand, was cold, and the people around him were ungrateful. It reminded him of home in that way. Thoughts of Annie and Stephen kept him going, working from the crack of dawn until night was long past, just to go home, cook for his cherished siblings, go to bed, and do it again the other 6 days of the week. Clover wondered how long he could keep running like this before it caught up with him. Sometimes he felt subtle pains in his chest, whether this was stress or the immense amount of caffeine it took to keep him functional. I guess this is what they call the grind, Clover thought as he took his place at his register, looking out at the line of people waiting for him with their ungrateful expressions of annoyance. Clover heard some kind of disturbance outside while he scanned an older woman's groceries. The noises sounded like yelling and bullets being discharged, not an uncommon series of sounds since they lived in the ghetto. Probably just another dealer being caught by the cops. The concern began to swell as the sounds became closer and closer, until it was at the door. And finally, 3 men entered the store with their backs to the crowd. One of the men blindly aimed his assault rifle at the people of the store. "All these people are our hostages. Mess with us and they die." The man yelled out demands at the world beyond. The man looked like a hood rat, looking at his reflection in the mirror beneath his register as he ducked to avoid the potential of being a sacrifice. Clover realized he had no right to point fingers. Looking around, the spacing of the people around him, his current hidden state, and the men's seeming lack of awareness that he had hid, Clover knew he very well might be able to crawl to the back of the store without drawing too much attention to himself. Clover moved his right hand to the boundary of his register box. As he made the smallest move of cowardice, he heard the scream of a young girl. Looking over, he saw the second man grabbing a girl that was about Annie's age, waving his gun around like a gorilla as he held the girl's wrist in his hand. Damn it, if only I had power. Clover looked around to see if anyone else heard the deep, strangely familiar voice. Clover felt a heaviness in his hoodie pocket that hadn't been there in the locker room. Reaching in the pocket, the cool feeling of his finger gracing a metallic surface filled his senses. Pulling the item out of his pocket, Clover was surprised to see a black pendant on a thin leather necklace. The pendant was black and shaped like a sword, with a dragon curled around it. The sword was familiar, and with a flash of realization, Clover realized where he had seen the sword represented on the pendant, and heard the voice that dwelled within his mind. The dream?
Correct. I offered you power. Use it as you will, but the price shall be paid.
A mixture of anxiety and confidence filled Clover. He didn't know what the price was that he was obligated to pay, and he had no idea how a little necklace or the voice in his head would help him. But if the words were true, he couldn't pass up the chance to save that girl. Another scream from the girl ripped Clover from his thoughts, and he stood on sheer impulse. "Hey, look a twat thinks he's hot shit." The man holding the girl ransom yelled out for his companion to hear, a look of stupid amusement on his face. "Then put him in a body bag, we ain't got time for heroes," the other man said, looking out the windows, watching the police's movements. "Done gotta ask me twice, bro," the man responded, aiming the rifle at Clover. Clover swallowed his non-existent breath.
Walk, do not heed to fear.
Clover took a step in the direction of the man. The single footstep that was followed by a bang and red-hot pain oozing from Clover's abdomen.
Do not stop your advance. Do not falter from the suffering of your vessel.
Clover took another step, then another handful, then another bullet struck him, this time in the shoulder.
Whilst I am your source of power, you needn't fret for victory, for it is assured.
Tears welled in Clover's eyes as another shot hit him, then another, until he was within arm's reach of the man. I've lived with pain my entire life. This isn't anything to write home about, Clover said as he held the barrel of the man's gun. Clover's eyes met the man's for a fraction of a moment before Clover punched him in the nose, sending the man falling back. The man, down to one knee, clutched at his bloodied face.
Finish your prey before it can alert its packmate.
Clover gave a brief look to the girl. All things considered, she looked fine. Spitting a few flecks of blood, Clover held the rifle. His body didn't hurt nearly as much as it should with 5 bullets in him. The man went to grab something from his waistband, and Clover took aim, sending one well-aimed shot into the man. That still leaves one.
Do what needs done. No battle is over until all your foes are vanquished.
Another flare of sharp red-hot pain ran through Clover's arm as another bullet struck him, knocking the rifle from his grip. Shit! Clover muttered to himself, facing the man who was watching the police. Daniel was always sloppy, but you'll still pay for killing my bud, the man said before unloading his clip on Clover. Clover felt each bullet's impact on his body and the floor's impact upon his back.
Are you truly satisfied with this? Get up, and fight.
It hurts so much. Clover was vaguely aware of footsteps near the spot where he was laying on the cold, tiled floor.
Humans are weak and feeble. You all die with the most timid of whimpers. I expected more of you. I thought you had the soul of a dragon. So get back up and show me your roar.
Shut up! Clover screamed. His mouth and throat burned after his words, and he smelled a rancid stench. Opening his eyes, Clover was met with the horrific sight of the burnt corpse of the man who had shot him, flesh still smoldering and smoke wafting off what was left of the man. Rolling over onto his hands and knees, Clover vomited profusely.
Well done, hatchling. You might yet be a worthy hunter.
Clover didn't want the praise the smug voice offered. The man had deserved it, both did, for threatening a child. Yet Clover didn't feel good for his actions. Clover looked up at the sound of more footsteps approaching him, the girl he had saved, and her father, the owner of the store. The well-dressed man knelt down and offered Clover a hand. The footage will get lost, and I'll do the talking when the police come in. Clover looked at the man with slicked back, salt and pepper hair, the man's face tired from years of stress. Why would you do this for me? Clover wheezed. You saved my little girl. Now let's get you to my office. My personal physician is still here and will tend to you while I get this sorted out, he said as he helped Clover up and directed him to his office.